All right, so I am one of Dorothy's oldest grandchildren. And so when I think back to some of my earliest memories with you, Dorothy, I think not just of one single memory, I think of a smell and a taste. And that is of Dorothy's flapjacks, cooked on the cast iron griddle. And now at our house, we weren't familiar with flapjacks. We had pancakes, which were just not the same thing. And we had these flapjacks in some amazing places that became so special to our family. In Cook's Forest, we were out there with Dorothy and her cast iron griddle. She had it wherever we went, and she made them for us in my first camping experiences. And in Cape Cod, where we often had lots of Bradys, and we got to know people like Signe and Kirsten and had so many special times. And also in Titusville. And as you know, there are a lot of Bradys, and they get pretty hungry. So thank you, Dorothy, for taking care of us and keeping us well fed with your flapjacks and so many other things. And then when I fast forward to the modern time, I think of how you've influenced me as a mother. And I often marvel, now that I'm a mother of two, how you were such an amazing mother. And I think, wow, things at North Perry Street with 7 children, how would I handle that? And I recently sent Dorothy a Mother's Day card, and I said that to her. I said, I think of you almost every day, and I think, what would Dorothy do? And I have a few stories or things, and as you know, the lore sometimes gets mixed in with, the truth. And one story, I think my mom told me, I don't think I heard it directly from Dorothy. She said, but this is a quote from Dorothy. Now, when that baby's crying, that's a good time to take a shower. So, Signe and Aaron, keep that in mind, because it's those first few months with the baby where you're not going to read that kind of advice and, the mommy blogs and the parenting guidebooks. But that is very essential information. Sometimes you just need to let that baby cry a little bit. You need a few minutes for yourself. Take a shower. And then I have a 4-year-old, almost 4, Monday, he turns 4. And another story from the Brady household that I think about is, well, one is the crying room. It's always, we don't have a designated crying room, but we love the philosophy. And I think I heard this story from Bob, but I'm not sure. And he told me, growing up in the Brady house, if there was a brownie with nuts on it, you didn't complain that there were nuts on your brownie. You ate your brownie fast, perhaps even frozen, because if you didn't eat that, somebody was going to happily snatch up your share. And so I like to think of that if I'm starting to descend down the vortex of catering to the whims of the 3-year-old. I think they wouldn't stand for this, North Perry Street. And so I thank you, because you and Bud both are such wonderful parents. And I thank you for showing me how to be both strong and no nonsense, but also loving and very caring at the same time. Thank you, and happy birthday.
Okay, our last toast for this time, and then we'll resume in the dining room, is Andrew Brady, John's son.
Hi everyone. Hi Grandma. I hope everyone had a chance to see in the front some of Grandma's, Dorothy's elected officials, her Senator King and Congresswoman Pingree wrote her some letters of congratulations on turning 100 and thanking her for her service to her country and her family. And so I just wanted to take this opportunity, well actually, in getting those letters, I had the opportunity to reach out to these folks and make the case for why this wonderful woman deserves such special recognition on this special day. I quickly discovered that her story pitched itself. As I was describing Dorothy, the tremendous family she built, and the remarkable journey of her life, it became clear that Dorothy is in fact the American dream. In fact, events like this that she gets to enjoy are the very embodiment of that dream. She made it through financial hardship in the 30s and sent her husband off to war in the 40s, staying behind to serve her country in her own right. She had 7 wonderful children, and in the 70s watched as some of those boys went off to war themselves. Dorothy served our country more than most, and made it the place that it is today. Her generation wrote among what is the most important chapters in our history. Her 17 grandchildren and 7 great-grandchildren, with more to come, I'm pretty sure, will live better lives because of her service and the sacrifices she made for our country. To close, I'd just like to read quickly one more letter that is not on display, but will be after this and after I give it to her. So just bear with me for a moment. It reads, Dear Dorothy, we're pleased to join your family and friends in wishing you a happy 100th birthday. As you celebrate this extraordinary milestone, we hope that you take a moment to reflect on the many memories you've made over the past century. Your generation has shown the courage to persevere through depression and war, and the vision to broaden our liberties through changing times. We're grateful for your contributions to the American story, and we wish you all the best for the coming year. Sincerely, Barack and Michelle Obama.
Okay, we're dismissed for the time being. Party on. We have here in the background a tape that we're trying to keep running that Anita put together of great old pictures. So Mary Ellen?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you, Mom, for inviting all of us to attend this special celebration of your 100th birthday. We have had so much fun preparing for this event, and now being together with all of our families is beyond fun. It was very hard to choose a memory to share with everyone, but I decided to share my memories of Mom preparing for parties and celebrations. Mom always had so much more energy than any other person I knew, but she became really energized when she was planning a party. It was always exciting to be around as she planned the menus and prepared the food. I particularly remember our feasts on Christmas Eve, when we always had the best shrimp cocktail and were required to try just 1 spoonful of oyster stew that none of us ever liked. I also loved your bridge and poker parties, which we all attended vicariously by peering through the stairs and making an occasional secret trip down the back stairs to try the food that was left out in the kitchen. You have always so clearly enjoyed entertaining your friends and family, so it should surprise no one that you wanted to celebrate your 100th in such a grand style. You are our inspiration and the standard that we will strive to match. Now I would like to say the blessing. God, we thank you for this food, for rest and home and all things good, for wind and rain and sun above, but most of all, for those we love.
Thank you, Mary Ellen. We're going to have 2 more toasts, and then we're going to open up the buffet. We have Mary Ellen's 2 daughters. Kirsten first.
Hello, I'm Kirsten. I am so happy to be here, and I just wanted to say how lucky I feel to have such a wonderful grandma, like Grandma Dorothy. I've always known that I had the best grandma on earth, and I know there's a lot of wonderful grandmas out there, but I couldn't be more proud and happy with my grandma. And there's so many things I want to say, but I'm going to try to keep it brief. There's so many wonderful stories of camping and same thing, pancakes on Cape Cod, making card houses on Cape Cod. But I was trying to remember my first memory. with Grandma and Grandpa, and it was with my big sister Signe. We were in the back of one of your old Buicks. We were driving, and you had that 8-track, and I don't know if you had more than one 8-track disc or whatever they're called, slots, but we always listened to one singular sensation, every little move she makes, da 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 da, one, da 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 da. Anyway, we always listen to that, so that always reminds me of how much fun we had visiting you in the back of your car, and just everything we did. So anyway, I don't know how you do it, Grandma. I don't know how you make every single grandchild feel like they're so special and wonderful. You have such a talent. It is truly, truly amazing. And I wanted to finish by telling a story. I remember this was one of my last memories with Grandma and Grandpa together was at Mary Tess's wedding. And I was given the job of walking Grandma and Grandpa down to the area where they were supposed to get married. It was this beautiful meadow, and there was a huge storm coming in, and we thought, well, maybe they could get the wedding done before the storm came in. So I'm walking down, and they said, just walk them down, make sure they get down there safe. So I'm in between Grandma and Grandpa, and I was supposed to be supporting them. And I walk, and I realized I wasn't supporting anybody. Grandma was walking Grandpa and I down. And I realized Grandma is the sturdiest person I know. And I always think about that. And I have a picture of you at that day on our mantle. And I always think about how strong you are, Grandma. And you are so inspirational to all of us. You have so many successful children and grandchildren. And I think so much of it is because you're such a strong figure. So thank you. We all love you so much, Grandpa.
Sorry about the sound system, I don't know. Anyway, and the last toast before dinner is Signe, Mary Ellen's daughter. Why don't you stand here? I think maybe a little bit. Over here. Can you get her Tyson? Okay.
Hi, I'm Signe. Anyways, I just have a few memories to share, and then some more recent events. But I was going to tell this. I still can highlight it. Grandma and Grandpa took me down to San Diego by myself, which I thought was really special. They tried to make an effort with so many grandchildren to get to know each grandchild individually. And they took me down to San Diego for a really special trip, and they taught me to play shuffleboard, and I remember playing on the beach and looking back and seeing my adoring grandparents, and I love them so much, and I just felt so special, and dressing up for dinner every night and just feeling great. But I was sitting over there and I was noticing that all these grandchildren are telling funny stories. So I was just remembering this story, and I think it was with Katie on Cape Cod. And the activity was to have, or maybe we made it up, Katie, I don't know. But it was to have two people be one person reenacting a story about someone else on the trip. And Katie and I reenacted Dorothy stealing the bacon from the supermarket. And I don't remember all the details, but I think Katie was the hands and I was the face. And her hands were through the sweatshirt and she was gesturing. But essentially, Dorothy was at the market with Bud, and she put, a side of bacon under her arm. And there was so much going on that she forgot that the side of bacon was under her arm, and so they accused her of stealing the bacon. And she, obviously said, I didn't steal it, whatever. But anyways, it was really funny at the time. But, and most recently, my life has had a lot of changes. I've gotten married, and even during the wedding, and then soon after I had a child. I'm now having another child. My life has changed so much. And so Dorothy came and visited us in California for a month, and this past, I think it was January, and I sat on the park bench with her many times, and she was giving me lots of advice, passing down the pearls of wisdom from one generation to the next. I did hear the story about going into the shower when the baby was crying, that Mary Tess told. But basically, I was just telling her about how my life was changing, and she said that she was a witness for all these people to grow up. She was a witness for Bud, because I was saying how I was no longer the doer. I was watching people and cheering people on and being there for people, and I'm gonna tear up. She was saying that's your role now, and that's what I did for so many years. I watched all these people and I cheered all these people on, and I was there for all these people, and it just was really beautiful, and I'll never forget that conversation.
Okay, now the buffet is going to be open, but the staff from Prudhoe is going to come around and designate a table at a time. So please remain seated until your turn comes. Thank you.